girls with piles of hobby.
Welcome to Pat and Ken at the Holidays, the 2024 edition. Can you believe it, Ken? I'm Pat McDonald, the Uber critic of Chicago.
You know, Pat, this is the only time of the year that you can sit in front of a dead tree eating candy out of socks. And I'm Ken Candela, the movie wag.
Well, Ken, you're going to introduce our first segment because you picked it. What is it, Ken?
I did pick it, and it's a Bob Newhart Christmas episode. The old Bob Newhart show.
In 1973.
Was it? Okay, second season. And it's called I'm Dreaming of a Slight Christmas.
All right.
And the basic premise is, as you remember, Bob Newhart played Dr. Bob, what was this? Hartley?
Hartley, yeah.
Hartley. He was a psychiatrist in Chicago. The one thing, watching this episode again, or just watching the show, I hadn't seen it in several years.
Yeah.
The opening, the city looks really bleak. I really did. They must have picked the cloudiest, dreariest, like pre-winter day. It is. I mean, when you look at it, it's very bleak,
Well, famously, he keeps walking back and forth between two places. I mean, it's such a weird opening because it's a Hollywood concept of Chicago, basically.
Correct.
Yeah. And you picked this because Newhart died this year, correct?
Well, yeah, kind of. He was. He had an incredible career. Always kind of remembered his Chicago roots. Came back to Chicago.
Yeah.
And the basic premise is, it's Christmas Eve. Bob and his wife, played by Suzanne Plachette, we're going to just have a very quiet Christmas Eve together, the two of them.
Well, it was one of those hybrid sitcoms where you have the domestic household situation with the Howard Borden across the hall, or the Kramer.
Played by Bill Daly.
The great Bill Daly, yes.
Yeah.
The Kramer of the day. And
neighbors who could just walk into your apartment,
nobody knocks,
unannounced at any time of day or night, right?
Right. And the implication is they're going to have a little hey that night. So what happens after that?
Well, he gets a call that he's needed back at his office. One of his patients has come in and is having some emotional issues. Mr. Peterson, played by, I think his name was John Fiedler.
Yeah, great character actor.
Great character actor. Did a lot of, I think he did a lot of voice work in cartoons and things like that. He has very distinctive voice. But, Bob goes back to the office, and it just so happens to be at the same time that they're having a Christmas party.
Sure.
At some point, the snowstorm, being Chicago, it is, moves in, knocks the power out. So everybody's basically somewhat trapped at the office. Again, the office party's going on. People are having a good time. The Bob all along, he just wants to get, back to his wife to spend a quiet evening at home.
Well, this is a rare glimpse into what I found out was called the Rimpau Medical Arts Center at 430 North Michigan Avenue. So it's a rare glimpse into the office. We get to see the urologist, the proctologist, the dentist, the Newhart show, Bob Newhart show, the 70s show. Wasn't the running gag that all their Christmases were disasters, much like the Mary Tyler Moore show, all her parties were disasters? Yeah,
I can't honestly remember.
Well, I was looking through the Christmas episodes over the years, and most of them were described as disasters. So I think that was the running gag.
And his wife is just like, Bob, why did you do this? You could have died and everything else. And well, I wanted to be home with you, and she puts a blanket around him and everything else, and he goes off and, was going to bring him something to drink, I believe. And when she goes back, he's sound asleep.
Yeah, well, that's pretty familiar. Familiar territory for me. The Newhart show, the Bob Newhart show in that era, very droll humor, kind of snuck up on you. Great in that lineup that they had on Saturday night when they had All in the Family and MASH and Mary Tyler Moore and Bob Newhart and Carol
Murderers Row, basically.
Yeah.
You know, the other thing about a show like Newhart is once they established the characters and the pacing, they pretty much stuck to that type of, they never really veered off course. They knew they had a good thing. And I think a lot of that had to do with Bob Newhart himself saying, look, this is what I'm comfortable with.
Right. Well, that was out of the MTM machine back then. They would establish a writing staff and a cast and everything, give them exactly what they want and let them go with it. And it was successful. By the way, they had a classic "Hi, Bob." Jerry in his Santa Claus suit said, "Hi, Bob." And there you go. Take a drink. That's the game.
Carol, hi, Bob.
Hi, Jerry.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So, what is your Christmas bell rating for?
Well, I'm going to give it 4 bells. I mean,
wow.
I think it was just a good, well done Christmas treatment of the Bob Newhart show with all the interesting characters that made his show such a success. Yeah, but if you like the old Bob Newhart show, it's worth checking out.
To me, it was very conventional. There wasn't much going on. It was a typical sitcom plot with the storm and they're trapped and all that stuff. But for old Bob, because it's his death year, I'll go 3 bells for the Bob Newhart Show Christmas Special 1973. So next on Pat and Ken at the Holiday is something I picked. I'm always looking for those old-timey Christmas classics. This is classic Christmas, and I found it. And it's with Gene Kelly. It's called Christmas Holiday. We'll reveal more on the next episode of Pat and Ken at the Holidays.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you